Hi guys, welcome to part 8 of How I Married Wrong. Yeah, now we are married. I think we are 3 weeks away from our wedding day. So I'm imagining things in my head that I'm gonna be that wife who has a husband who's faithful to her. I don't know how I got to believe that a man who cheated on me while we're still married, how is it gonna change when we are married? But anyway, I believe that. I believe that he's going to be a faithful husband. That I believe that he's going to be a husband who's going to be there for me, available for me emotionally, financially. He's going to be there. So I thought that, what, finally, I've got my dream wedding. So just to highlight something that is going to come up later on my story is that during the time I was in property. I was with Remax. I was doing property, and so it happened that I think few weeks or I think few months before our wedding, I saw this property that I had to list. I was listing this property in a nice suburb. Yeah, in a nice suburb. It's called Montrose in Pietermaritzburg. It's called Montrose. So I saw this property and I loved it. And I remember my boss at the time said, "No, why don't you buy it, because you can afford it and it's a good investment." So yeah, it was for the first time. I'm in my 20s buying a house that is over $1 million. It was scary, but anyway, I went ahead and bought the property. Why am I mentioning that? It's gonna come up later. Yeah, as we continue with the story. So I bought the property, and then after we got married, we moved in with property. I was in property. He had also joined me in property as well, because I was like, you know what, there is money here. Let's make money together. Yeah. We moved in that property. So after our wedding, I think 2 weeks after our wedding, as I was standing in my bedroom holding my son, I'm facing the gate, and what did I see? I see my friend dropping my husband at the time, which is my ex-husband, dropping him. And guys, I didn't even think twice. People always say that you should have controlled yourself, you should have done this and that. I understand, but sometimes you don't think and react later and say, what have I done? So what I did, I dropped my baby, who was, I think he was like, he was about almost a year or few months, I can't remember exactly. Dropped my son. I jumped in the car and I started chasing her. So how our house was, it was one of those properties where the driveway is very long. So you drive inside the property to get to the gates. So I drove to the gates. I started chasing her. The chase, guys, was about 20-30 minutes chasing her, flying on the highway. And it was so dangerous. I thank God that God was with me and He protected me. In fact, He protected us, because I was not supposed to chase her. I was not supposed to even jump in that car. I'm the one who ignored the red flags. The first red flags, the second, and many other red flags. I decided to ignore them. But now I've become this woman. I cannot even recognize myself. I started chasing her, and then until she gave up, she parked on the side of the road. Yeah, well, my car was was faster than hers, because the BMWs I was driving a fast. Yeah, my car was faster than hers at the time. So she parked on the side of the road. I went to her full of anger. I started beating her up. But ngamushaya ntombazana, I started beating her up. How can you do this? Don't you know I'm married? You told me you're gonna break up with him, and now you're still with him. How do you even have the audacity to come and drop him at the gates at our home? How do you do that? I started fighting her, and yeah, she was talking. She said she didn't know she was married, which is, I believe it was a lie, because one thing about him, he had a ring on his, I mean, beside, we lived in a very small town, so everyone knew us. Everyone knew that we got married. So, especially her, there's no way she wouldn't have known. So I started beating her up until I came to myself. I said, who have you become? Why are you even doing what you're doing? I stopped, took a phone, I went home. When I got home, I got to my ex-husband and I gave him the phone. I said, here's the phone of your girlfriend, and I flashed the phone. Yeah, and I later I heard that she was admitted in hospital. That's what he told me, that she was, excuse me, was admitted in hospital because of the beating. Yeah, so yeah, that's what happened. And then after that, yeah, guys, you know, sometimes we'll tell ourselves a lot of lies. And as I'm telling this story, I'm not a victim. It's a story that shows the wrong decisions I made in my life. No one convinced me, no one forced me, but I made wrong decision. Hence, this is the reason why I'm making this video, so that I can warn women, I can warn other people who are in this situation as mine, hoping that the man that are with, who has shown them 1,000 red flags, is going to change. He's going to change when he's married. He's going to change next week. Those are lies. Once a person shows you who they are, believe them. It doesn't matter what they say. Believe them. But wait and hear what is about to happen next. I thought was the worst could catch him with a woman and also with my friend, but it was the beginning of a journey, that yeah, the story where I believe Satan came for me. He knew that he wanted to finish me. If it was not for the devil, if it was not for God, I wouldn't be alive. I would have killed. I don't know how many times I contemplated suicide, but let me not be ahead of myself. Let's move to part 9.